And I just realized the camera is pointing in the wrong direction, kind of. There, now that's better. Good morning, happy Thursday, everyone. Okay, so, let's get to my low, my high, my act of kindness. So, I just heard, it is kind of both my low and my high because it coincides with the bad news I sort of heard on Tuesday. But I also heard some good news today. So that's good. It's just a big adjustment that's going to happen at some point. I mean, again, everything is fine. Just, it's a pretty big adjustment. Wow, I just did my low and my high pretty fast. Let's see, what's my act of kindness? I called my mom a couple of times. Held the door for some people. Also, somebody I know dropped something, and I picked it up for him and gave it back to him. So yeah, that happened. Okay, so full stop. I totally forgot who this week's Hot Ones guest was, so I looked that up before this video. I'm like, did I really forget that Adam Brody was going to be on the Hot Ones? I mean, to be fair, yeah, I can kind of see why I'd forget that, but I mean, I know Hot Ones is today. I just forgot who the guest was going to be. I can't believe I never made that mistake before up until now. I can't believe I've never made that mistake up until now. Okay, listen, I know this is going to be a pretty... Actually, you know what? I don't know if this pick is going to be easy to make or not. Because the Vikings and the Chargers have been looking fairly solid this season. I mean, it's up in the air as to... Like, this game really is going up in the air in terms of who I think is going to win. I could see the Chargers winning simply because they're at home. But technically, they have the better record because the Chargers are 4-3. The Vikings are 3-3. The Vikings had a bye week. That's always. This is why it's always so confusing sometimes whenever teams have bye weeks, because you look at their records of the teams they're playing, you're like, wait, how is it week 8 and they've only played 6 games? Right, there was a bye. I don't know. Personally, I've never been in any kind of position where I had a buy for anything as far as all the sports I ever played. That just goes to show how great I was. But I don't know. I mean, if I was a professional, if I was a player in the NFL, I don't know how I like having a bye week. Or I would like having a bye week, but there was a certain time of year I would like to have the bye week, rather than I think I'd rather have my bye week closer to the middle of the season or later on in the season, week 10, 11, 12. Well, 12 would be the latest. I would say week 8 would be the earliest I'd want to have a bye, I suppose. Actually it was 18 weeks, so week 9, I'm sorry. Week 9, so week 13 would be the week I'd want to have a bye week. Actually, I don't know if anyone has a bye week that late in the season. I mean, I know what the bye week is for, so players can rest. In case anyone's injured, you get an extra week to come back. Don't overexert yourself. And some teams have actually performed quite well after they've had a bye. So it's not like the concept of having a bye week doesn't have any merit. I just don't know if that's something that, I would want to. Actually, I wouldn't want to have a bye week. I'd just rather have it later than earlier. Yeah, I'd rather have something. Because, listen, if you don't know me by now, I'm a business before pleasure kind of guy. Like, let me do all of the work that I'm supposed to do, that I know I can do, in one setting and get it done, so I don't have to think about it later. That way I can enjoy, whatever it is I can do to relax. Because I think this way, that's also why, I'm do work first, then, eat or sleep, for instance. If I eat or sleep before I work out, or before I do any kind of work, like chores or anything, I'm not going to want to do it. I mean, you would want to be able to relax after you put your work in, because it makes that sort of relaxing time so much better in comparison. If I did, let's say I had, I don't know, a really good night's sleep, but I know for a fact that I have something important to do the next morning that requires me to get up early. I'm not going to be able to enjoy that. But that's just me. So, yeah, where was I? Right, I was talking about the Minnesota Vikings versus the Los Angeles Chargers. I think I'll just pick the Chargers. They're at home. They're looking good right now. I still think... Oh, actually... Because here's the thing. Right now, I actually have the Vikings as one of the wild cards going into the playoffs. And this is a game I don't think they really could afford to lose. Actually, you know what? Who did both teams lose to and beat? Okay. So the Vikings have beaten and lost to... Okay. They lost to the Titans. They beat the Bears. Lost to the Falcons. They beat the Bengals. They lost to the Steelers. They beat the Browns. And they lost to the Eagles. Okay, so... Oh. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. They lost to the... Okay, so it looks like the teams they were able to beat, they were able to beat. Okay, so yeah, they beat the Bears, as I knew they would. They lost to the Falcons, beat the Bengals. Okay, so it looks like the teams that the Vikings were able to beat were teams that they really should be able to beat. Like the Eagles, the Steelers, and the Falcons are all looking really good right now. So yeah, they lost to pretty good teams. Now the Chargers. Now I know their first game of the year they won. Yeah, they beat the Chiefs. Okay, beat the Chiefs. They beat the Chargers. They beat the Browns. Okay, so they are. So yeah, they're first place in their division right now. Yeah, the Chargers are totally going to win their division. As of right now, I'd say so. Ooh, they lost to the Giants. They lost to the Commanders. Both teams that the Cowboys beat. They beat the Dolphins. And they lost to the Colts. Just because at this point you're better off going by who won in terms of level of difficulty. And by that logic, the Chargers are the better team. Because I mean, granted, the Chiefs are looking good this year, but we didn't know that for the first game. They're first place in their division. The only really bad loss they shouldn't have lost to is the Giants. Which, how did they lose to the Giants? I don't know. Well, actually, the Commanders beat them worse. Which is funny because the Cowboys beat both of those teams. And I'm thinking my Dallas Cowboys are going to be terrible this year. What's a more egregious loss? Losing to the Giants or losing to... Actually... Ooh. Actually, you know what? There is nothing more egregious than losing to the Giants. That's settled. I'm picking the Minnesota Vikings to win tonight. Because again, like, I'm looking at the teams that the Vikings have beaten and lost to. Like, the Falcons and the Steelers and the Eagles are all really good this year. Like, really good. I think the Vikings are due for another win since they're 3-3. So, yeah. I would say that the Vikings are going to win tonight. Of course, watch, I'm probably going to be totally wrong again. Man, I haven't gotten a game right on Thursday in weeks. I need this. But yeah. I feel, I actually do feel comfortable picking the Vikings over the Chargers. It should be a really good game, though. I'll say that. This should be a good game. I mean, the Chargers are at home. They're gonna, it's gonna be a packed SoFi Stadium, but Minnesota Vikings fans, from what I've seen, travel pretty well. I mean, listen, any team's fan base travels pretty well if, they're able to afford it. So, I mean, I don't have Prime, so I'm not actually going to be able to watch the game. But for those of you watching the game on Prime, I would not be surprised if you see a fair bit of purple in SoFi Stadium tonight. Well, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Again, I got both the Vikings and the Chargers going to the playoffs. I genuinely think they both can go. I mean, the Chargers, they're winning. I mean, I said earlier that I said a few weeks ago in a short that the Chargers are going to win that division. It really is looking like that so far. And, the Vikings, I mean, I had Green Bay winning the division after they completely shellacked the Lions, but I don't know, man, the NFC North is tough. I mean, the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers are all good. It's just that the Bears are terrible. I say that as I'm wearing a Bears jersey. But yeah, I think the Vikings are going to win. I think they're due for a win. I think we're going to have a really good game tonight. We're in for a real treat. Actually, who is the quarterback of the Vikings? Didn't J.J. McCarthy get hurt again? Oh, Carson Wentz. Oh, yeah, never mind, yeah. 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 I do feel comfortable with, the Vikings beating the Chargers tonight. Okay. Now I don't feel so worried about it anymore. I can't believe it's already Thursday. It's like, here's the thing. I'll admit, I was kind of dreading this week because really it was just because I had a great weekend, and so I didn't really want to, go back after having. Again, you never want to go back to your normal grind after you have a lot of fun. Again, it's just what I said earlier. I can't really enjoy the good stuff in life knowing I have other stuff that's important to do later. But, that's something that we all gotta live with. It is. I mean, I guess the weekend is a bit special in the sense, like, you get a couple days. You know what I mean? As opposed to, like, only a few hours, and then you gotta go back to doing whatever it is you gotta do. For some people, it's like that. Some people have longer than a couple hours, just naming some times. But yeah, Vikings versus Chargers tonight should be a good game. Adam Brody is going to be on Hot Ones. I can't wait to check that out. Yeah, I think we're going to be in for a really good day. So, yeah. Honestly, I'm just stuck. I have no idea what else to talk about. Other than, I mean, I don't know when I would have the opportunity to do this, but I'm very well aware of all of the press about Pokemon Legends ZA. In terms of like, I've heard people think it's like the greatest thing ever, and I've heard other people say it's the worst. I'm like, here's the thing though. The things I've seen people complain about were some of the things that I personally showed a little bit of concern with. Particularly one that stuck out to me the most is the fact that, and I said this in that video I talked about, the entirety of Legends ZA takes place in Lumio City, which is a city in the Kalos region. Which, fun fact, the Kalos region was modeled after Europe, in which Lumio City is a direct reference to Paris, right down to its namesake tower looking like the Eiffel Tower. And the entire game takes place in Lumio City, but nowhere else. No hills or mountains or, quarries or caves you gotta go through or fields or anything like that. It's literally just all in one city. I mean, honestly, your mileage may vary as to whether or not you like looking at a city. I mean, personally, I wouldn't mind looking at a city within reason, so, it is what it is. Hope you like this video. Like this on our YouTube channel, on social media. As always, I'm here to help me this video for all of you guys watching Joe video. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Thursday. And remember, you guys want to talk to me, let me know. Always be back. Take care and make good choices. 6-0-7 all day, baby.